Part 1. Siheyuan, God-level purchaser. Author, Idle Monkey Brother. Chapter 1. In the 60s, the capital was counted as 9 cold days. The cold of the capital is cold to the bone. Even if you are wearing thick cotton clothes, it is still difficult to resist. The cold in the capital is even more bloody, and only by putting his hands in his sleeves and stomping his feet can he resist embarrassment. Looking up, the white snow covers the buildings, mostly courtyards. Within 100 miles, there is no breath of modernization. What is colder and colder than the weather is hunger in the belly, no oil and water, and a thin body, which seems to be rotten at any time. Zhou Jingming, who was originally in excellent health and crossed over, was helpless. Zhou Jingming was wearing a shabby cotton coat, standing at the door of the procurement office of the rolling mill, and the cold wind poured straight into his neck and cuffs. The others had long since retreated inside. He was the only one outside. It took almost 2 days to figure out the current situation. 60s. Rolling mill, quadrangle. The first uncle, the second uncle, the third uncle, the deaf old lady, Hiyazhu, Su De Mao, Qin Huiru. It is actually the world of the TV series Love in the Courtyard. But it is said that the courtyard is full of love, and there is almost no good person in the courtyard. Moral. Official fan, calculating, muddy, green tea. Tisk. It is not an exaggeration to say that it is full of birds. The original owner is also a member of the courtyard, but he did not appear in the TV series. He had no father or mother, but because he lived in 2 houses alone, he was calculated by the second uncle, and occupied one of the houses and gave it to his nephew to live in for free. But this Lu Hongguo is not very old, but he is a complete street slicker. Don't do business every day, do your best to steal and don't do personnel. It's even more bad for the original owner, and the insults don't count, and they find reasons to beat them at every turn. The original owner was already weak, and he was beaten by 3 or 2 dozen like this, coupled with hunger and cold. Just 2 days ago, after being beaten by Lu Hongguo again, he had a high fever and died with a whimper. He also came through and became the current Zhou Jingming. Maybe I'm afraid of accidents. Lu Hongguo has been a lot more honest in the past 2 days, and he didn't bother him. This Lu Hongguo bullied me. It is impossible for Lu Haizhong to be completely unaware, the original owner also said euphemistically. But he pretended to be deaf and dumb the whole time. It's hard to say whether he instructed it or not, but according to this trajectory, the original owner is dead, and the 2 rooms just belong to Lu Hongguo. Zhou Jingming's eyes released a cold light. Unlike the honest and cowardly character of the original owner, he has always taken revenge overnight. And Lu Hongguo and the second uncle's blood account, sooner or later, it will be calculated. It can also be regarded as an explanation to the original owner. But the current situation is that his body is too weak. It also looks handsome and delicate, like a top stream before passing through. However, due to malnutrition, the whole person has a dispale face, plus he is weak. In this era, it's really not popular. Otherwise, he wouldn't be in his 20s, and he wouldn't even have a woman in his picture. Let's find a way to take care of our body first, he said. You can improve your body by exercising, but you also need nutrition, he says. Nutrition comes from adequate food. Zhou Jingming frowned. In this era, materials are extremely scarce. Firewood, rice, oil, salt, sauce, vinegar, and tea are all available in limited quantities, and if you want to buy them, you have to show a ticket. That's hard. But it's not completely impossible. The original owner is a purchaser in the purchasing department of the steel plant, and can often purchase various materials. This is a fat pour, a little more flexible, and it is not difficult to get some materials secretly. But the original owner is too honest and stupid. Not only can he not seek more benefits for himself, Even the amount of purchases that have been explained cannot be satisfied. If it weren't for the fact that the original owner's parents were martyrs, he would have been fired by the procurement department a long time ago. Thinking of this, Zhou Jingming shook his head again and again. No wonder the original owner is so miserable, he is too rigid, too cowardly, such a character will be miserable at any time. Ouch, this human lamp is making nonsense here again, and if he can't complete the purchase volume this month, he will have to eat the northwest wind. A caustic voice rang out. Then, a man with flat cheeks wearing a blue Tibetan cotton coat and shiny hair came out to squeeze Zhou Jingming. This person is another purchaser in the purchasing department, named Lin Xiao. He has always looked at Zhou Jingming unpleasantly, and he has long wanted to get him away and get his cousin in. He looked down on Zhou Jingming very much, and felt that he occupied the pit and didn't. Obviously there was such a beauty difference, but he couldn't complete the task. Hurt them to deduct points for the whole group, and then unlucky. So I usually have nothing to do, but I always like to run and abuse. But this time, Zhou Jingming was not like usual, he looked embarrassed and apologized in fear. Instead, he stood there and glanced at him lightly. That look is like looking at garbage. That bearing, but it is a little similar to the president of the purchasing department. Lin Xiao was suddenly unhappy. What to pretend, the bigger the live, the more the axis, the whole miscellaneous glass ball. Zhou Jingming easily pulled out a wooden stick, which was made as a rolling pin, sturdy. The key is solid, heavy. Grandson, your mouth is like squirting feces, you can say another word. Zhou Jingming is not the original owner, and he will not get used to this grandson. If he dares to talk cheaply, he will dare to do it. Zhou Jingming's momentum shocked Lin Xiao, and he had every reason to believe that as long as he said one more word, the other party would really dare to fight. Lin Xiao is also a donkey dung egg, with a horizontal surface, and he only dares to be weaker than him. If he is stronger than him, he will be cowardly. But he was used to bullying the original owner, and now he wants to be down, and other people in the procurement department are watching, so he still wants to. 2 more sentences. A crisp voice like a yellow warbler came out of the valley. Do you buy biscuits, and what do you pay me for this? Everyone couldn't help but look at the person who spoke up, and they were all stunned. Where did they still pay attention to this little contradiction? Especially Lin Xiao, he looked straight in the eyes. In this age when everyone is dressed in gray. She wore a white fluffy camel coat and a pair of woolen boots. 2 oily black braids were ingeniously tied with 2 bows. The face is as white as fine fat. Legs straight. Zhou Jingming was also stunned, but not because the girl in front of him was too beautiful. It's because the girl in front of her is actually Lu Xiaoyi, another heroine in the TV series. But it's not Lu Xiaoyi, who is married to Su Daimao. At this time, she was still a carefree girl. And compared to the TV series, without Su Daimao's training, she is really too beautiful and dazzling. For Lu Xiaoyi, Zhou Jingming is extremely sympathetic. This is a silly girl, and she is also the only one with a heart and the kindest one in the whole play. It's a pity that the fate is too miserable. First of all, he was careless in marrying and was not cherished and cared for. Later, he divorced, and was matched by a deaf old lady to the bastard of Silly Zhu. Was reported by the second uncle again, and the whole family moved to Hong Kong for development. Later, when the reform and opening up came back to invest, I was forced to be sucked by the blood of the entire courtyard. It can be said that if it weren't for her later money and efforts, none of these beasts in the courtyard would end well. However, even so, the benefits were all taken away by Qin Huirou. Even his own son followed along. In the end, she didn't get anything. Silly Zhu still married a widow. She is such a good girl, but she ends up lonely all her life. It's miserable. Zhou Jingming reviewed the plot and felt sympathy for this girl. She should be a phoenix, and she shouldn't fall in the chicken nest of the courtyard. If he had the ability, he would have prevented the tragedy from happening. Well, what are you doing? I'm looking for him, not you. A crisp voice, full of firmness. Lu Xiaoyi bypassed Lin Chao, who greeted him politely. Walked up to Zhou Jingming and shook the golden rooster biscuit in his hand. Buyer, what price do you give me for this box of biscuits? Welcome the 7-day National Day holiday, read books and have fun, charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. To rush immediately, event period, October 1st to October 7th. Siheyuan, God-level purchaser. Author, Idle Monkey Brother. Chapter 2. Golden Rooster Biscuits. This era is a rare thing, civilians can't afford to eat it, only those rich children who have a way to eat it. Lu Xiaoyi's father is a capitalist, and the family is rich, so it is not uncommon to eat cookies. But why did she sell the cookie? She's not bad for money. Looking at Lu Xiaoyi, who winked at him slyly, Zhou Jingming understood. Kind girl, this is to see him being bullied, come to solve the siege. The market price of the biscuit is $2.50, but this is the acquisition, $2. In this era, prices are very low, and a piece of 5 can buy a fat and healthy big hen. A box of biscuits for 2 pieces of 5 is indeed not something that ordinary people can afford. The biscuits that have not been opened can be folded directly for 5 cents, which is more than enough to buy 2 bowls of beef noodles. But this kind silly girl, in order to help him, a person she didn't know, directly folded the money. No wonder she was able to help those who hurt her without regrets, regardless of her past suspicions. These 5 cents made Zhou Jingming feel sympathetic. I want to protect this hard-won kindness. At least, she can't be allowed to marry Su Damao's pus-covered guy. The cookies are for you, and the money will be brought in. Lu Xiaoyi handed over the biscuits. Zhou Jingming took it and was about to count her 2 yuan. Lin Chao suddenly interjected. Alas, don't worry, you sell me this biscuit, and I'll give you 2 pieces. Lin Chao is unhappy, not to mention Lu Xiaoyi's rare beauty. As far as this box of biscuits is concerned, today's task after the acquisition is half completed. Of course I want to cut off my beard. Zhou Jingming looked at the past coldly again. There was no talking. But Lu Xiaoyi smiled and said, I will be willing to sell this box of biscuits to him, if I don't sell it to you, bite me. Lin Chao was stunned, his face was full of displeasure, and when he saw everyone laughing at him, he left angrily. Zhou Jingming immediately smiled, he didn't expect this little girl to have a very lively personality. I don't see this in TV dramas. Counting her 2 yuan, Zhou Jingming reminded quietly. Thank you for helping me out. You are a good girl, but if you marry someone in the future, you have to know people, and it is best to inquire more about the other party's character. Lu Xiaoyi exclaimed, blushing. Ahh. It turned out that at that time, people, pure, thin-skinned, and a girl, when it came to getting married, I couldn't help but be shy. Zhou Jingming knew that his words were abrupt. But he was telling the truth. Su Damao's personality, as long as you ask, who doesn't know? I don't know how she married him. After Lu Xiaoyi's initial shyness, she became very curious. Well, how do you know I'm going on a blind date today? As he spoke, he took the $2. Blind date today? Wouldn't it? Such a coincidence. Your blind date is projectionist Su Damao. Lu Xiaoyi is even more curious, her eyes are full of stars. You know all this. Are you a god operator? Zhou Jingming was about to speak, when suddenly, there was a dripping sound, and a voice that only he could hear sounded. Congratulations on your successful acquisition. You activated the god-level procurement system. You have received the critical hit reward Golden Rooster Biscuit *10. You have obtained the lucky critical hit, and you have obtained the fitness pill *2. Consciousness suddenly entered an incomparably vast space, and there was nothing else in it for the time being, only 10 boxes of golden chicken biscuits left alone. Zhou Jingming suddenly realized. He gets the standard system for the traverser. And this system is actually related to procurement. Procurement is a critical hit. There's even such a thing as lucky crit. And intimately give him a super infinite space, in case these critical items suddenly appear in front of everyone. Lest he be burned as a monster. What a system! When Zhou Jingming checked the system, he didn't pay attention to Lu Xiaoyi. Lu Xiaoyi saw that he didn't speak, stood there, and felt bored, touching his frozen red nose and leaving. Idiot! However, she had a mind in her heart. Today's blind date Su Daimao, really bad? If that's the case, that's not going to happen. That girl just now, she is really watery, like a green onion. You don't know this girl, I know, her name is Lu Xiaoyi, she has money in her family, and her father is a famous capitalist. Cut, capitalist, the ingredients are not good, I'm afraid it's hard to marry. What's so hard to marry? She wants to marry me, not to mention such a character. Just the dowry, tisk. You know, it's true that people are capitalists, but people have shares in rolling mills. Such a girl, it will not be your turn. Zhou Jingming withdrew from the space, saw that Lu Xiaoyi had gone away, and thought to himself. I'm going to the toilet. After that, he walked out. He went to the toilet on a fake, mainly wanting to try the effect of the health pills. The original owner's body is weak, and the physique that falls down when the wind blows is too unfavorable to play. Later, when he encountered the silly pillar of the combat power ceiling of the courtyard, Su Daimao and his ilk had to use force. Then you have to be in good health. Originally, he was still worried, how to take care of his body. I didn't expect the system to be so powerful, and directly gave him 2 health pills. The health pill is like a jelly bean, exuding a faint fragrance. The exterior is a layer of radiance, like a glowing pearl. It's pretty good. Put it in your mouth, and when the health pill encounters saliva, it turns into a warm current like water, which flows directly to the internal organs. The body that was originally cold and injured was like soaking in a hot spring in an instant, and it was as if there was a stove that was constantly roasting warmly. It makes me want to moan. In a short period of time, his paper-thin body was full. There are 8 well-defined abs. And the hair that was yellow and dry due to malnutrition also became dark and thick. What's more, the short figure, like a jointed bamboo, grew up a full 10 centimeters and reached 1.82 meters before stopping. The clothes and pants looked short and didn't fit. The body has changed, and the temperament has also changed greatly. Now that he is a star, there is no problem at all. The gallop caused many big girls and little daughters-in-law to stop. That guy was so handsome. Come on, no matter how handsome you are, you won't have your share. You damn girl, you dare to make fun of me. Welcome the 7-day National Day holiday, read books and have fun, charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. To rush immediately, event period, October 1st to October 7th. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Siheyuan, God-level purchaser. Author, Idle Monkey Brother. Chapter 3. Fushun Restaurant, not far from the rolling mill, has a long history, handed down from the Ming Dynasty, and has a good reputation for cooking delicious food. The people who come here to eat are some leaders, important people, and children of rich families. Ordinary people, come here for a meal, that's a very decent thing. But the price. A meal costs at least more than 20 yuan, which is equivalent to 2 months' rations for a family, but not everyone can afford to consume it. Su Daimao put 3 dishes in front of him, and these 3 dishes cost him nearly half a month's salary. The pain hurt so much that he bared his teeth. But as soon as he thought of the person who was about to go on a blind date with him, he immediately became energetic, and he didn't feel any pain. The Lu family is old wealth, and some are money, he said. There is only one daughter, Lu Xiaoyi. As long as she is done, after the two old ones die, the money will not be mine. Thinking of the small bungalow where the Lu family lives, the ancient wooden furniture, jewelry, calligraphy, and paintings, Su Daimao is just going to go straight to the bottom. If you want to put it on hold, such a rich lady is like a fairy in the sky, she can't even think of it. But now it's different. He, Su Daimao, is a projectionist in the rolling mill. I can also talk to the leaders of the factory. The monthly salary is 44, and from time to time there are people who give gifts and filial piety. It can be said that he is a good man with a bright future, and many girls are waiting to marry him. Being able to marry her Lu Xiaoyi is a blessing from her 3 lives. The Lu family is rich. But what's wrong with the money, capitalists? It's not good to say, it's not good, the ingredients are not good. Lu Xiaoyi married him, that is a high marriage. Su Daimao is very confident. Excuse me, which table is Su Daimao? There was a crisp and pleasant voice, it was Lu Xiaoyi asking the waiter in the restaurant. Here. Here. Su Daimao hurriedly went to pick it up, and waited until he saw Lu Xiaoyi's appearance clearly. The eyes are straight in no time. My good boy. This girl is so handsome. The skin, the eyes, the little mouth. It can only be said that he is worthy of being pampered and raised, and he is different from other women. Su Daimao originally thought that even if Lu Xiaoyi was ugly, for the sake of money, he could endure it. I didn't expect Lu Xiaoyi to be so beautiful. Thinking that such a beautiful woman would become his heart was very hot, and he vowed to marry Lu Xiaoyi. You're Xiaoyi, right? Come on, come here, I've specially ordered 3 dishes, they should all be your favorite food. Xiaoyi, I really didn't expect you to be so beautiful. On a blind date with you, my Su Daimao is really smoking from the ancestral tomb. I have to say that Su Daimao is a sultry master. When I saw Lu Xiaoyi, I praised him sentence by sentence. This is placed in that simple, difficult to say love in that era. If you praise people so bluntly, you can make a girl stunned. Su Daimao also relied on this hand to fool many beautiful women. Lu Xiaoyi is simple-minded and kind. If she hadn't met Zhou Jingming, she would have believed the words of the blind date in front of her. But now, she frowned slightly, and she didn't think so. This man is talking like a train with a mouth. He said. We just met, and they just complimented me like that. He said. I can't guarantee that he won't say the same thing in front of other women. Lu Xiaoyi is kind-hearted, is well protected by her parents, and doesn't deal with people in the market much. But that doesn't mean she's stupid. However, let's explore first. The man said that to know people and faces, you must know heart. Went over with Su Daimao, and saw that there was only one bench there, and his brows furrowed even more. Waiter, add me a stool. The waiter came over and was about to add a stool to Lu Xiaoyi, but was stopped by Su Daimao. No, I'll just sit on a stool with this young lady. Su Daimao is bent on winning Lu Xiaoyi, and this blind date is the key. When she gets this girl to her heart, she has to hurry up to marry him. Where can I keep her distance? Lu Xiaoyi didn't want to sit on a stool with Su Daimao. Listening to him stop, he said unhappily. We just met, why are we sitting so close? If I don't add a stool, I'll go. Seeing that Lu Xiaoyi was really leaving, Su Daimao compromised and added an extra stool. Before Lu Xiaoyi could speak, he began to speak in his mouth and diligently prepare vegetables. Look at me, people are so stupid. He said. I thought that we would sit closer so that we could talk, but I didn't expect it to be self-defeating. He said. I apologize. I apologize. This brushed mutton, fresh, can you taste it? And this roast duck, it tastes really good. Lu Xiaoyi listened to his explanation and was skeptical. Look at those dishes again. There was a churn in my stomach. To be honest, she doesn't like to eat duck and always feels fishy. The family knows this and never makes ducks. These meat dishes are extremely rare in this era, but for her family, they can be seen 3 or 5 times a month. It's not gluttonous. She couldn't eat the smell of roast duck. But she didn't want Su Daimao to be embarrassed. She didn't say it directly, only said, I've just eaten it, so I won't eat it, you can eat it? When Su Daimao heard this, he was not polite, and ate it in a big gulp. Just picking up duck meat and eating it with a mouthful of oil. These dishes were bought by him with money. Lu Xiaoyi didn't eat them, he couldn't waste them, right? It's fragrant. Xiaoyi, let me tell you, this roast duck is really good. Why don't you eat some? Lu Xiaoyi looked at her nickname coming out of the mouthful of duck meat, which was disgusting. Su Daimao, we are not so familiar yet, you can call me by my full name. She wanted to pull her legs and leave, but her mother gave a death order. This Su Daimao is the most reliable among the blind dates. I want her to not be so high-spirited and talk to people well. Let's talk, let's talk. Su Daimao, have you been on a blind date before? Blind date? Of course, Su Daimao has met, but he categorically denies it. No, I didn't, and this is my first blind date. Really? It's better than pearls. Su Daimao patted his chest and said. Lu Xiaoyi will be suspicious. To be honest, even if Su Daimao has been on a blind date before, it is very legitimate. But he said it so definitely that Lu Xiaoyi was a little puzzled. I was going to continue asking. Suddenly, a plump woman entered the house, and after seeing Su Daimao, she came over quickly. Sat next to Su Daimao. Oh, Daimao, you're here, why didn't you look for me today? Eat so well, I eat too. The woman picked up Su Daimao's chopsticks without seeing it and began to eat the meat in a hurry. And Su Daimao panicked when he saw this woman. I never thought that the widow's son who had a leg with him would actually appear here. However, his brain also turned very quickly, and he immediately scolded righteously. Widow's son, you are sick, what is going on, go away. Widow's son is a bastard. This Su Daimao gave her a little benefit and got along with her. Later, she got tired of hooking up with others. She was jealous in her heart, and wanted to squeeze some oil and water from Su Daimao to her own children. This will hear Su Daimao's appearance of drawing a line with her, and immediately sneered. Why, you Su Daimao got a benefit, and you turned your face and didn't recognize people, right? Give me $30, and I'll leave at once. Su Daimao exploded when he heard it. $30, why don't you grab it? The woman didn't move, and glanced at Lu Xiaoyi, who was stunned by the scene in front of her. Sister, I said you are so handsome, don't be blind in your eyes. Don't be lard, marry some black-hearted and rotten people. Lu Xiaoyi stood up suddenly, trembling a few times, obviously extremely angry. Picked up the water cup on the table and threw it at Su Daimao. Su Daimao hid. Lu Xiaoyi put down the water glass heavily. Snorted coldly. Su Daimao, what happened today? I will go back and tell my dad. After saying that, look up and leave. Su Daimao definitely couldn't let people go, so he grabbed Lu Xiaoyi when he went up. Xiaoyi, you listen to me, things are not what you think. Su Daimao is a powerful man, and Lu Xiaoyi is a weak woman, and he will definitely not be able to pull him. And the dispute of several people also attracted everyone to watch. Lu Xiaoyi was ashamed and angry, and felt that today's things were really ridiculous. Su Daimao relied on his strength and actually pulled Lu Xiaoyi into his arms. Lu Xiaoyi was shocked and angry. In this era, girls pay attention to honor. If she bumps into Su Damao's arms, she won't be able to tell her 8 mouths in the future. But at this moment, her hand was grasped by a large and powerful hand. Then came a resounding slap in the face. Su Damao was pumped in a circle and smashed over the table and bench. Su Damao was stunned. Pumping him was naturally Zhou Jingming, who rushed over. Zhou Jingming originally wanted to stop this blind date, but he happened to meet Widow Sun on the way here. Widow Sun, the man has been sick and died for several years. In order to support the child, he hooked up with Sun Damao. It just so happens that Sun Damao is also good at this. Otherwise, how could he hook up with Qin Huiru? However, Widow Sun is not as scheming as Qin Huiru. At the cost of a box of golden chicken biscuits, Zhou Jingming asked Widow Sun to sabotage the blind date. Where do you want Su Damao to be unrelenting? Zhou Jingming, who was hiding on the side, had to take action. Welcome the 7-day National Day holiday, read books and have fun, charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. To rush immediately, event period, October 1st to October 7th. Siheyuan, God-level purchaser. Author, Idle Monkey Brother. Chapter 4. The body that has been shaped by the fitness pill is not an ornament. This slap directly made Su Damao not get up for a while. Su Damao, since he was a child, has suffered losses from Silly Zhu. He's a projectionist, and outside, everybody has to stutter him. How can I have suffered such a grievance? He is tall and big, and he has never lost a fight, but he didn't expect to be slapped in the face. That's not an easy one. People are a little cowardly. I'm afraid that it is a relative of Lu Xiaoyi, so there is really a reason to beat him. But when he looked up, but saw Zhou Jingming, the face was gloomy in an instant, and the anger was rushing. They all live in the same courtyard, and Zhou Jingming's background is clear. It's just a poor ghost who died with his parents. Occupy the fat gap of the purchasing department for several years, and the result is still an apprentice's salary, 18 yuan per month. The house left by the dead parents in the family was also occupied. People can't do it. Cowardly and weak chicken, it is a pestle nest goods. If you have something to do, you don't bully him less. This kind of person, Su Damao usually doesn't look at it squarely. Now he has been beaten. Was still beaten in front of his favorite blind date Lu Xiaoyi. Su Damao was angry in an instant. He didn't dare to get angry at the leaders of the rolling mill, and he didn't dare to get angry at the weak chickens he had always looked down on. Zhou Jingming, you dare to beat me? Got up, copied the bench and was about to smash Zhou Jingming. Lu Xiaoyi, who was behind Zhou Jingming, turned pale with fright. Hurry up. You. Get out of the way. How could Zhou Jingming hide? If he hid, Su Damao's stool would definitely fall on Lu Xiaoyi. Then he won't help people, but he will hurt people. Besides, his current physique and skills don't need to hide. As soon as the cat wasted, he rushed over like a cheetah, pressed the edge of the stool with one hand, and put the other on Su Damao's chest. With the help of the momentum, Su Damao was directly struck on his back, and the stool flew behind him and fell to a table. There was a loud bang. The waiter of the restaurant immediately came to maintain order. Who is making trouble? This is Fushun restaurant, you want to make trouble outside. Su Damao's whole person was stunned, and he hadn't recovered from Zhou Jingming's martial performance. This week, Jingming, when is he more powerful than a stupid pillar? Lu Xiaoyi froze, her mouth opened slightly, but her eyes flashed. Looking at Zhou Jingming's tall back, it was like seeing a hero falling from the sky on the clouds. Her slender hand pointed at Su Damao. It's him, he's a hooligan, he wants to take advantage of me. The waiter at the restaurant looked at Lu Xiaoyi, an obviously rich girl. Look at Zhou Jingming again, he is not well dressed, but he is also neat and tidy, and his bearing is outstanding. Look at Su Daimao again, with a treacherous face full of treacherous likeness. Compared with the two phases, he made a judgment and immediately caught Su Daimao. Okay, you dare to make trouble in our Fushun restaurant, you are in a hurry to find death. Su Daimao was stupid. I don't. Widow Sun saw the situation and did not give up. Surnamed Su, you have to give me a clear word today, how are you going to place me? Su Daimao grimaced bitterly. What are you messing up with here? Where do you still have the heart to pay attention to Zhou Jingming and Lu Xiaoyi? Zhou Jingming and Lu Xiaoyi walked out of the restaurant. The sun shone through a thick lead cloud on the two of them. Lu Xiaoyi must have felt in her heart, and suddenly found that the man in front of her seemed to have become a lot taller. Is it my delusion? Looks like he wasn't that tall before. No matter how much Lu Xiaoyi thought about it, she would never have thought that Zhou Jingming had grown after taking a fitness pill. Thinking about Zhou Jingming's heroic performance just now, Lu Xiaoyi's cheeks were red. Just now. Thank you so much just now. And before, thank you for the reminder. Lu Xiaoyi usually speaks very neatly, but somehow, in the face of Zhou Jingming, she stuttered a little. I didn't expect this person to be like this, if it weren't for you. Shuddered, Lu Xiaoyi didn't dare to think about what she would face if she married such a scumbag in the future. Zhou Jingming waved his hand. It's okay. You don't have to thank me. He said. Su Daimao had a personal vendetta with me. He said. That widow Sun, I happened to meet her, please use your box of biscuits to move her out. However, it is true that he and widow Sun are not clear. Zhou Jingming said everything one by one. He just didn't want this stupid girl to fall into the fire pit. As for himself, I don't care what Lu Xiaoyi thinks of him. Anyway, he said it truthfully, and it was also a reminder to Lu Xiaoyi, people in this world are very complicated, and they will have a heart in the future. Lu Xiaoyi was stunned by Zhou Jingming's words, and her heart fluctuated. Huh. That's right. Originally, she was disgusted by making things bad behind her back, but somehow, she couldn't hate Zhou Jingming. It turned out to be his. The means are disgraceful. But he's for me after all. Dad said that when a man walks the world, he should do whatever he wants. His methods are disgraceful, but they make me realize Sun Daimao's. This person isn't a bad person, is he? Besides, he didn't mean to lie to me, and told me about it, he said. Dad said that to the benefactor, the spring should be reciprocated. After self-construction, Lu Xiaoyi raised her head. You haven't eaten yet, have you? I'll invite you to dinner. Zhou Jingming raised his eyebrows, he thought that after saying these words, Lu Xiaoyi would stay away from him. Unexpectedly, he invited him to dinner instead. It seems that this little girl has a lot of room for transformation, not the kind of pure silly white sweetness. The reason why he became such a big injustice in the TV series is that I am afraid it is inseparable from the surrounding environment and the people around him. I just didn't eat. Okay. Zhou Jingming didn't open his mouth, but just asked Lu Xiaoyi to invite him to eat beef noodles. Good guys. The body without oil and water, after being shaped by the body pills, the appetite increased greatly, and he ate 7 or 8 large bowls of beef noodles in a row. People in this era are simple, the beef noodles, but there are really beef, and there are a lot of them. Lu Xiaoyi saw that he ate a lot, and after the initial surprise, she kept telling the boss to add more beef. Then he held his cheeks and watched Zhou Jingming eat. I feel so strange in my heart, obviously it is also a meal, but Sun Daimao is annoying when he eats. The person in front of him is eating, how can it make people feel heroic? Seeing Zhou Jingming's next bowl of noodles, he bottomed out. Boss, another bowl. Come on, come on. The boss brought another bowl of noodles over and said with admiration, "Little brother, see that you are not fat, you can eat enough. This bowl of beef noodles, I'll give it to you." A few noodle eaters are also amazed and envious. This guy can really eat. You don't know this, it's a blessing to be able to eat. Can you afford to eat so much at home? Chi, you don't understand this, do you? Look at that girl, no one is short of money. In these years, people have little oil and water in their stomachs, and it is not easy to improve their lives. How dare they eat with their stomachs open? And even if you eat hard, you can't eat much. The stomach is hungry and thin, and I eat too much and have indigestion. It's really rare to be able to eat like Zhou Jingming and eat a lot. Lu Xiaoyi listened to everyone's discussion, and her little face was red under the smoke of the noodle soup. As for Zhou Jingming, after killing this bowl of beef noodles, he was finally satisfied. Looked at Lu Xiaoyi's playful eyes, a little embarrassed. Actually, I don't eat so much every day. Today the situation is a bit peculiar. I'll pay for today's meal. It's okay if he doesn't explain, but as soon as he explains, Lu Xiaoyi sneered. You are my benefactor, how can I make you pay? Besides, you don't eat much, so that's it. $3. I have $100 a month pocket money, and I can still afford it. As soon as Lu Xiaoyi's voice fell, the people around her were dumbfounded. Good boy. The salary of the 8th level technician in the rolling mill is only 99, and this girl's pocket money is 100 a month. How rich is that? What kind of family is this? Zhou Jingming smiled, but he forgot that Lu Xiaoyi was born. It's not tangled. Then please. I'm done eating, I'll go back to the purchasing department first. Zhou Jingming was very simple, stood up and left. Now that he has opened the procurement system, he has to make good use of the system to strengthen himself. As for the others who don't, then they have to wait for him to gain a firm foothold in these 4-9 cities. Lu Xiaoyi watched him leave, her eyes shining inexplicably. This guy is really interesting. I'll go back and talk to my dad. I said. People don't pay well. It's good, and the ingredients are good. He said. Money or something, my family has money anyway. I wanted to say something sassy, but I found that there was nothing to say. Everyone read the text. Welcome the 7-day National Day holiday, read books and have fun, charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. To rush immediately, event period, October 1st to October 7th. Siheyuan, God-level purchaser. Author, Idle Monkey Brother. Chapter 5. Zhou Jingming was hot all over, and his body was as light as a swallow and rushed to the rolling mill. Passing by an alley, I happened to see an old man carrying 2 large carps to the purchasing department. He knew this old man, it was Uncle Zheng, a master of fishing. I often fish some river fresh and go to them to exchange some money or food stamps. His mind moved. You can buy fish, too. Uncle Zheng, are you going to sell this fish to our purchasing department? How much are you going to sell? It's Xiaozhou. He said. Uncle Zheng shook off the 2 big carps that were jumping around and said proudly. You can keep these 2 carps, look at the freshness, look at the shiny scales. He said. I'm going to catch them early in the morning, and they're all tailed. One is 7 or 8 pounds. If you want, I'll give you a cheaper, how about I'll give you 3 yuan for 2 fish? Fish and meat are sold for money, a pound is sold for 4 cents, and if you collect it, half of it is 2 cents and 5 cents, or 3 cents. These 2 fish, the normal harvest is at least 3 pieces 7. Count him for 3 yuan, it's really cheap. Zhou Jingming is also unambiguous. No problem, you take the 3 yuan. Zhou Jingming counted 3 yuan to Uncle Zheng. Okay, Xiaozhou, that's right, you were too rigid before. Uncle Zheng left satisfied. Zhou Jingming was also very satisfied. They do procurement, often go outside, and hold money in their hands. But this money is not spent in vain. How much is spent, where it is spent, what is bought, and how many grades of goods are spent, all have to be recorded. There are 4 levels of buyers, and a buyer like him is the lowest level buyer, with a purchase limit of 100 yuan per month. If you complete the task without flaws for 6 consecutive times, you can be promoted to a second level buyer, and you will have a purchase limit of 200 yuan per month. The original owner has not even reached half of the quota for 3 consecutive months. Ding, congratulations on your successful purchase. Congratulations on receiving the critical hit reward, high quality large carp *100. Congratulations on getting the lucky crit, you get a 23x 30 km freshwater lake. In the space of consciousness, a vast lake lies on the originally empty land, sparkling in the microwave. From time to time, a mischievous carp jumped out of the lake, as if to greet him. The crit hit out of the lake, and Zhou Jingming was surprised. But looking at these fish, I felt worried. 100 carp into the lake fishing again is not the same as looking for a needle in a haystack. Trouble. As soon as his thoughts came to him, he determined the location of the 100 carp in his mind. The thought moved again. 100 carp were wrapped in a mysterious force and went straight out of the lake. Zhou Jingming immediately understood in his heart. Buying something that crits it can actually be changed according to his ideas. He tried a few times, and sure enough, he wanted to catch a few fish, and which one he wanted to catch. He is simply the omnipotent God of this space. His mind immediately came alive. It's okay to buy some fish fry and put them in the future, right? However, it's better to buy and crit. This land, after buying seeds, I don't know if I can crit out patches of crops. Are there any other uses besides these simple uses? Zhou Jingming thought about it for a while, and then chose a fish. Make it into canned fish. As soon as he had such an idea in his mind, the system sent a prompt. I'm sorry, you are not level enough and cannot complete the operation for the time being, please upgrade the level. Zhou Jingming's face was weird. The system prompts you not that he can't operate, but that he is not leveled enough. So, if I reach the level, I can make canned fish. How do I level up? The system replied again. When the owner's purchase volume reaches the standard, the system will automatically upgrade the level for you. It turned out to be linked to the purchase volume. It seems that I can't be lazy anymore. It must be purchased vigorously. Zhou Jingming is still experimenting, and wants to know what he can do with the current level. He found that there was still a lot he could do. For example, the fish is cleaned in an instant. The water of the lake can also be mobilized by his will. The land here, with a single thought, can be completely renovated. But more complicated operations, it really doesn't work. According to the system, the level is not enough. Gotcha, buy. Zhou Jingming slipped 2 big carps and returned to the purchasing department effortlessly. As soon as I went back, I saw Lin Chao collecting a basket of Chinese cabbage and making records with the recorder. Purchase 50 caddies of Chinese cabbage, purchase fee 1 yuan. Zhou Jingming came in with a carp, and the recorder's eyes lit up. Wow, the harvest is good, the carp in winter is a rarity. Zhou Jingming smiled, lifted the carp over, inspected it and put it in the water tank. How much is this charged, this quality? I'm afraid it will cost 4 yuan, right? Zhou Jingming, no, 3 yuan. Then you kid is lucky, plus these 2 fish, you have completed a total of 5 yuan of acquisition today. And they're all quite lucrative acquisitions. That's a premium acquisition. It's fine. Zhou Jingming didn't praise himself, and responded flatly. The recorder was not surprised, knowing that he was usually reticent. Today, I bought 5 yuan of goods, which is already very good. Seeing this, Lin Chao crooked his nose angrily. He worked hard to buy 50 caddies of cabbage, and the salty snot flowed out from the cold, and this week Jingming actually got 2 carps without any effort. He was originally jealous of Zhou Jingming and Lu Xiaoyi talking, and now he is even more jealous that he accepted 2 good carp. Putting the cabbage box down, he sneered. It's really a big sun coming out of the west, and a mallet that doesn't go well can even become a good product. This Lin Chao forced Lai Lai in the morning. Zhou Jingming had already warned him. Now he is picking up cigarettes and smoking them on the street, and he is not used to him. He went up and gave him a kick. This kick directly knocked Lin Chao Den to the ground. I warn you, Lin Chao, if you die like this again, your father and mother can't take care of your broken mouth, I'll pluck your teeth. Lin Chao was kicked and grinned in pain. Through the cotton clothes, you can also feel the strength of this kick. Where does he dare to be cross-sectional? In this era, it's good or good, it's a good place. It's just that when you encounter this kind of mouth that is not dry and clean, you can go directly to the force. Zhou Jingming also felt this deeply. Sometimes it's not as useful to speak well with your mouth as it is to punch and kick it. Okay, let's eliminate the anger, and I won't look up and see anyone in the future. The recorder helped Lin Chao up. Lin Chao was aggrieved. You see, he's kicking me. The recorder is a middle-aged man in his 40s, and he is a steady man. Listening to Lin Chao's words, he glared at him. Can you blame him? It's not that you bullied people in a hurry. If you want me, it's still light to kick you. Lin Chao didn't dare to argue. This recorder was an old man from the procurement department, and he had something to do with the leaders above. But he secretly hated Zhou Jingming. Zhou Jingming also noticed his rather hostile gaze, and met his gaze without fear. Lin Chao couldn't bear it first, but he couldn't take his eyes away. Excuse me, do you buy sweet potatoes here? Outside, an old lady carried 2 baskets of sweet potatoes and asked in a low voice. Welcome the 7-day National Day holiday, read books and have fun, charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. To rush immediately, event period, October 1st to October 7th. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Siheyuan, God-level purchaser. Author, Idle Monkey Brother. Chapter 6. There were also 2 buyers in the ministry, who ignored them at a glance, apparently not interested in this kind of petty procurement. This situation is very common, and the high-level purchaser is reluctant to purchase these bulk goods. You know, the rolling mill is a large factory with 10,000 employees. That's how much supplies are needed. They all have to be collected by the ton. In comparison, 100 caddies of sweet potatoes are really not very interesting. The old lady looked at the big dick and ignored her. Somewhat cramped, uneasy. Zhou Jingming saw that the old lady's trouser legs were full of mud spots, and he was panting in his mouth. Obviously these 2 baskets of sweet potatoes were picked by a lot of effort. The sweet potatoes were all washed cleanly and stacked neatly. Instantly a little unbearable. Greeted warmly. Accept it, why don't you accept it? Come, auntie, I'll weigh you first and give you a good price. As he spoke, he picked up 2 baskets of sweet potatoes and put them on the scales. That relaxed and freehand appearance surprised several people in the purchasing department. The recorder walked over with an appreciative look in his eyes. Okay, Xiaozhou, I can't see it, you actually have the strength to do this. The old lady was also secretly surprised. They say that the people in the city are delicate, but I think this young man is really good. This strength is greater than the strength of Dazhuang in the Tunzi. Zhou Jingming smiled, finished weighing, and said neatly. Auntie, these 2 baskets of sweet potatoes are a total of 160 caddies. Now a pound of sweet potatoes is charged at 2 cents, and 160 pounds is 3 yuan too, but I don't think it's easy for you, give you 3 yuan and 4 yuan, do you fancy it? As he spoke, he began to count the money. When the old lady heard this, her hand couldn't help but wipe her jacket twice. That's a lot. He wanted these sweet potatoes to sell for $2 at most. But I didn't expect this guy to be handsome and sincere, so he could give her an extra 1 yuan for 1 piece for Bud rice noodles are 5 cents and 5 pounds, white noodles are 1 mao and 2 caddies, and good rice is 2 cents and this has to be 25 caddies of Bud rice noodles, 11 caddies of white noodles, and 7 caddies of good rice. In the simple emotions of the old lady, I feel that this is already a great favor. Just about to pick up the money, Lin Chao on the side, suddenly rolled his eyes and interrupted the acquisition. Wait, auntie, he will give out 3 pieces of 4, and I will make 3 pieces of 8, you give me these sweet potatoes. Lin Chao did this, it was completely vicious competition, and if he bought it like this, sweet potatoes would basically not make money. This acquisition is not a high-quality acquisition. But he's on fire. I can't swallow that breath. Would rather make an inferior acquisition than let Zhou Jingming complete the acquisition quota of 3 blocks and 4. The others looked over, but didn't say anything. I have done this kind of thing more or less. It's up to each person. The old lady was also stunned, how could she still grab it? But there are 4 cents more, of course she is willing in her heart. In these days, who can be afraid of the lack of money? Money is life. For 4 cents, you can buy half a caddy of sugar for your grandson. Seeing that the eldest lady was excited, Lin Chao looked at Zhou Jingming very proudly. He's going to cut it off. I have the ability to raise the purchase price. At that time, not only did you not make money from the things you bought, but you also had to put money into them. See what you do, you off. Zhou Jingming didn't get angry, but said to the eldest lady in a harmonious voice. Auntie, as for me, I can't buy this batch of sweet potatoes for you at a higher price. No matter how high it is, the purchasing department will not make money, he said. But I can buy crops from you for a long time. He said. You can go back and ask the villagers who has more food at home, and they can take it out and cooperate with me. He said. I can even come to my door to buy it, so I don't have to come all the way to you. He said. You can think about it, but you can't get it? Zhou Jingming's words made the eldest lady fall into thought. Sell it at a good price once, and there will be surplus grain in the future, and there is a long-term exchange channel. It's still clear. Besides, the young man in front of him was very sincere, saying that he could come to the door to buy. What a wonderful thing that is. Save yourself the effort. Thinking of this, she said to Zhou Jingming. Young man, then I'll cooperate with you, our people in Tunli are diligent, and this year's harvest is also good, and there is some surplus grain. I wanted to sell it, but unfortunately I couldn't find a way. He said. With your words, I will inform them when I go back, prepare the grain, and when the time comes, my wife will come to you to buy it. The eldest lady blossomed, smiling wrinkled. Happily took the money from Zhou Jingming. Happily carrying an empty basket to buy delicious food for my grandson. Recorder Lao Li gave Zhou Jingming a thumbs up. Good boy. Don't be impressed. You are not only completing this acquisition, but also laying the foundation for the next acquisition. It seems that the promotion to level 2 acquirer is just around the corner. How could the other 2 acquirers still not understand it, and they both regretted it? Don't look at the more than 100 caddies of sweet potatoes are not much. But what if there were 5 or 10 of them for sale? It's still long term. Lin Chao was even more angry, why didn't he think of this? Isn't the benefit his? Remorse. No, when did this pestle become so bright? Zhou Jingming didn't care what others thought. Following the completion of this acquisition. Ding! Congratulations on your successful acquisition. You have received a critical hit bonus, 160*50 for a good sweet potato. This time it didn't inspire the lucky crit, but there were 8,000 caddies of sweet potatoes in the space, which is a full 4 tons of sweet potatoes. If you want to sell it, you can sell it for 240 yuan for 3 cents a caddy. It was quite a month's salary for an administrative 15th level staff. Technicians can't be compared. And that's just the benefit of an acquisition. But come to think of it, these things can't be sold directly. He has no power, no power, and no way now. I can't tell where this food came from, and it is very likely that someone will frame and design it, and it will not be fun to lock it up. There must be a reasonable explanation of the source, and you are not afraid of being checked before you can take it out. Today has a good start. Zhou Jingming has facilitated several more acquisitions. It's all looked down upon by other acquirers, and it belongs to the level of petty fighting. But for him, it's even better. When it's time to get off work, he already has the following storage in his space. 9 cans of golden chicken biscuits. 100 carp. 8,000 pounds of sweet potatoes. 5,000 pounds of Chinese cabbage. 3,000 pounds of eggplant. 2,000 pounds of green peppers. 1,500 pounds of green onions. 600 eggs. He also successfully completed 1/10 of this month's procurement task. I was about to get home from work. Heyuzhu, the chef of the canteen of the rolling mill, brought his apprentice Ma Hua to pick up the food. Welcome the 7-day National Day holiday, read books and have fun, charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. To rush immediately, event period, October 1st to October 7th. Siheyuan, God-level purchaser. Author, Idle Monkey Brother. Chapter 7. Heyuzhu, known as the stupid pillar. But he is not stupid, he is also very shrewd. Otherwise, Su De Mao, a bad seed, would not have been planted in his hands 3 or 5 times. The 3 masters of the courtyard are not his opponents when they are separated. But to say that he is kind and selfless, that's not likely. His kindness and selflessness were all given to Qin Huiru. To the others, he is not so good. It's his own sister Heyushui, who is so thin like something. He saw that he brought food from the canteen back to feed Qin Huiru's family, and he didn't bring anything delicious to his own sister. This is true for loved ones, let alone for others. Otherwise, ask the chefs in the canteen if he is a canteen tyrant. In the cafeteria, he said one or the other. Bring home 2 stir-fried vegetables every day as leftovers. This is to put it mildly, it is to take advantage. To put it more broadly, it is to steal public finances. In the TV series, he was sucked by Qin Huiru's family from beginning to end. If it weren't for the help of the deaf old lady who let Lu Xiaoyi give birth to a son for him, he would even become a desperate family. But this time, he ruined the blind date between Lu Xiaoyi and Su De Mao. There is a high probability that Lu Xiaoyi will not marry Su De Mao again. Will not be favored by Su De Mao after being tribulated. There's a good chance he's going to die. But can you blame others? Why is Lu Xiaoyi? I want to be the big injustice that is sucked by a yard of birds and beasts and nothing good. He himself wants to be sucked by Qin Huiru's blood, so let him go. Zhou Jingming didn't want to deal with Heyuzhu. As long as the other party doesn't mess with him, he wants to be wronged, let him go. He didn't want to pay attention to Heyuzhu. But Heyuzhu didn't want to let him go. Heyuzhu saw 2 big carps jumping around in the water tank. My mind moved. These 2 carps were bought at the factory's expense, one was made, and one was kept and brought back. Sister Qin and a few small ones, I'm afraid I'm going to laugh. Commanded Zhou Jingming. Xiao's Huzi, Your 2 carps are good, I want them, 2 carps are 2 pieces 5. MCA, go, fish out the fish for me and take it away. He named and named Zhou Jingming. He has done this many times. It's smooth. Zhou Jingming's 2 carps are collected for 3 yuan, and if they want to be sold, they are 4 cents a caddy, and 2 15 or 6 caddies can be sold for at least 66 yuan on the market. He usually wanted to take it away with 2 pieces of 5. It is true that the purchasing department is a rolling mill, but to take 2 carp, it costs 4 yuan. Who will make up for the lost money? Thinking about it with his toes, he knew that it was him, Zhou Jingming. The original owner is a weak chicken, and he is a pestle nest, and he will definitely not dare to fight with Hiyazhu, the ceiling of the combat power of the courtyard. Always silently eat these losses. But Zhou Jingming is not the original owner, and he will not get used to him. I bought these 2 carps, but if you want to take them, 6 yuan, a lot of money. At this time, Hiyazhu was 4 years younger than the 31 years old in the TV series, but he looked trembling and looked older. So even if he is 27 years old, he is not much younger than in the TV series. Energetic, but because of his youth, it is even worse. What? $6. Zhou Jingming, you have a lot of skills, dare to choke with me, these 2 fish, I have to take them away for 2 yuan 5 today. What are you doing in a daze? Go fishing. MCA responded. Hey. He said. I'm going to fish. But his hand was grabbed by Zhou Jingming. Zhou Jingming's hands were like steel pliers, and he couldn't move Ma Hua. At this moment, MCA was stunned. Master, he won't let me fish. He secretly wondered, in the past, he and his master came to pick up supplies, and they had bullied Jingming this week. But the other party is chirping, and she doesn't even dare to put a fart. Originally, it is not his turn to take supplies for this kind of thing. But who made the master the chef of the factory? That craftsmanship is a must, and you can't find it anywhere else. Doesn't this have the absolute right to speak in the kitchen? The leader of the factory wants to open a small stove or something. The master only needs to say that the things sent by those people affect the play. You have to pick and choose. What else can the leaders say? Naturally, it is accurate. This back and forth has become a common practice. I used to take vegetables at a low price. The losses were all on the head of Zhou Jingming, who was wronged. The other party didn't do it today. But what he and his master are used to is that they are at fault. Zhou Jingming resisted, but they felt that Zhou Jingming was wrong. Hiyazhu is muddy. But there is one thing. Take face very seriously. Zhou Jingming asked him to come off the stage in person. He's got up to the ground. I just want to teach Zhou Jingming a lesson. He came over in 3 steps and 2 steps, reached out and grabbed Zhou Jingming's clothes, just wanting to take advantage of the situation to punch. But how could Zhou Jingming let him succeed? Twisted Ma Hua, and listened to Ma Hua's hand bones click, and he screamed in pain. The place where Zhou Jingming was holding was bruised. I felt that something was wrong, and I was trying to remind the master. But when he looked at it again, he found that Hiyazhu's 2 hands were held by Zhou Jingming. There was silence for a moment. From time to time, there were 2 gasps. Hiyazhu is famous for his strength, and it is not a problem to shake the spoon with 1 hand. Usually, one person carries 300 pounds of goods and plays. The fight is even more fierce. Basically, no one dares to stand up to him. But Zhou Jingming is not only tough, but he has not fallen behind. Hiyazhu was also shocked. The weak chicken that I usually look down on has so much strength. I tried to pull my hand, but I didn't move. His face sank. He's muddy, but he's not stupid. Zhou Jingming, let go of your brother Zhu. Zhou Jingming seemed to be smiling. Let go of you, yes. But Hiyazhu, I am not related to you, you can't afford me to call you brother. Hiyuju's face was blue and white for a while. What's the matter? Let go first, it's all a courtyard, don't let people see jokes. Zhou Jingming sneered. Will this remember a hospital? What did you do earlier? He let go of Hiyuju. To be honest, he didn't expect such a good effect of the fitness pill. Hiyuju is the standard of combat power of the courtyard. He can be suppressed by force, let alone others. Hiyuju rubbed his sour wrist while looking at Zhou Jingming with triangular eyes. I don't know if it's an illusion, he always feels that Zhou Jingming is a lot taller than him. And this strength. He has this strength, why was he bullied by Lu Hongguo's street slicker? Could it be that they bullied too hard and made Zhou Jingming change his temperament? Hiyuju secretly pondered. You can't just leave it at that. He is a master who does not suffer. I have suffered such a secret loss in vain, how can I give up? Deputy Director Li of the factory pointed out that he wanted to eat carp. Zhou Jingming, do you want to fight against the deputy director? Hiyuju moved the leaders of the factory out. But it's good that he doesn't say this. As soon as he said this, Zhou Jingming's half foot was retracted. Welcome the 7-day National Day holiday, read books and have fun, charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. To rush immediately, event period, October 1st to October 7th. Siheyuan, God-level purchaser. Author, Idle Monkey Brother. Chapter 8. Hiyuju came by force and could not use force, so he moved out of the leadership of the rolling mill. It doesn't matter if it's a tiger skin to make a big flag. The face of the deputy director of Renli has to be given. Hiyuju is so clever. He's stupid. Whoever says he's stupid, who's stupid? After saying this, he looked at Zhou Jingming triumphantly. Moved out of Deputy Director Li, he didn't plan to just forget it. This Zhou Jingming must suffer a big loss today. Didn't you let him take the fish? He took it. Not only take it, but also take it ruthlessly. Let Zhou Jingming suffer a big loss. How much is Zhou Jingming's salary in January? 18 pieces. The position of the buyer of the rolling mill was given to him for the sake of his dead ghost father being a martyr. It's been a few years, and I'm still a first-level buyer. Who is to blame? I can only blame him for his lack of ability. And he, the chef of the canteen of the rolling mill, is not as good as a technician like the first and second uncles, but to his extent. Take 37 yuan 5 a month. Compared with status, Zhou Jingming can compare to him. On this point, Hiyuju is very confident, and feels that he will be dead to Zhou Jingming this time. Instructed Ma Hua to take not only the 2 big carps, but also the radish, Chinese cabbage, green peppers, including the can of Golden Rooster biscuits. Of course, it's Zhou Jingming's account. Lin Chao watched from the sidelines, and also felt a deep sigh. The let you kid cross. Kick to the iron plate, right? Hiyuju is also something you can offend. The recorder Lao Li really felt that Hiyuju was a bit too much this time, and he couldn't see it. 2 sentences of persuasion. Chef he, it almost means something. How could Hiyuju forget it, and flatly refused, no. Looking at Zhou Jingming. Deputy Director Li personally orders the food, and you can't go out of the pool, otherwise you will be responsible. Hiyuju arrested who and scolded whom. It made Lao Li snort angrily. But he really didn't dare to say anything more. This chef is in charge of the food in the canteen, who offended him, and when he was cooking, he was so upside down. Meals can be cut in half. In this era, people are poor and frugal. There is no oil and water in the stomach. Although the food in the cafeteria doesn't taste good, there is oil and water. If you have oil and water in your stomach, you will have the strength to work. If you go half of the oil and water, you'll be hungry. I can only look at Zhou Jingming helplessly, and ask for more blessings. What about Zhou Jingming? Laughing fast. He you are done. He walked through, although he inherited the body and identity of the original owner. But let's be honest, it's more from a bystander's perspective. For those beasts in the courtyard, in fact, there is not much hatred. I thought that in the future, the well water would not interfere with the river water, and each of them would live their own lives. As for him, he is bent on making money and doing business. Gain a foothold in this world. Live your own little life, forget it. But he thinks so. People don't think so, and he actually bullies him. If he doesn't fight back, he's still a man? He smiled and said. Deputy Director Li wants to eat fish, these two big carps, I will give them to him to eat. Does Hong. He became even more proud. Hey, that's right. If I had understood it so well, wouldn't it have been fine, but I would have worked so hard. Zhou Jingming took out a crumpled small notebook from his arms and walked to the recorder. Lao Li. Uncle, I have a record of the accounts that He has owed me on credit in the past 3 years, a total of 52 yuan, 8 cents, and 4, please deal with the pair. It turned out that every time He took the account from the original owner recorded it in a small notebook. Not a single one. Now, just in handy. Lao Li is also a good person, and he was originally sympathetic to Zhou Jingming, but he was scolded by He, and he was angry. Zhou Jingming took out this small notebook, didn't he just hand the gun to him? How can you not take it? Immediately said. Okay, you wait, I'll reconcile the accounts right away. He didn't look at the situation right, he glanced at the little book, good guy, everything is too small, even a green onion is recorded. My nose is almost crooked. What's the matter, Zhou Jingming, what do you want to do? He's already scratching the mark. This kid is going to settle accounts with him. Zhou Jingming said unhurriedly. He these things you take, although they are taking my account. But these things are public. I'm just a little buyer. He says. The ability is limited, at most I will give you credit, but I can't pay you back. He said. You're here today, give me the money you owe. He said. Otherwise, I will have to take this account book to the leader to ask for an explanation. He said. Ask if this is what the leader means, or if you mean Chef Ho. Zhou Jingming's words made He half loud and didn't react. Alas, no, when did this kid become such a chicken thief? The account is out, it's not bad at all. Recorder Lao Li pushed his glasses. Chef He, what do you have to say? I just happen to be able to deliver 2 sentences on it, if Xiao Zhou wrongs you, I can talk about it. He face was all blue. He has a to say. He can't be poked in this matter. Once you poke it, it's serious. That was after the illegal embezzlement of state finances and the oppression of martyrs. He really didn't expect it. Usually this week, Jingming is silent, and when he rectifies people, it is a fatal blow. This money. I'll give it to you in 2 days. At this time, He had help for Qin Huiru. But Qin Huiru's husband Jia Dongxiu is still alive. The salary of the two, one is 27 yuan 5, and the other is 18 yuan, and it is not a big problem to feed the family. At most, he will bring something to eat. There is not much loss of money. He doesn't care about his sister, he feeds the whole family without hunger, and usually eats in the cafeteria. It's a small deposit. The money is still available. But he doesn't want to take it. I feel distressed. That's $52. It's not $5, 5 cents. He had the heart to drag. After 2 days, who knows how many days? Anyway, it's a day to drag it out. Zhou Jingming knows He's thoughts well. I don't want to give, so I'm procrastinating, right? Uncle Li, let's do 3 days, Let's give Chef He 3 days, if he doesn't take out this money, you can tell the above. After all, we belong to a hospital, and we can't let him give it now, don't you say? Lao Li is about to laugh. This week Jingming, when did he become so fine? But that's a good thing. People are a little fine, don't fall into the pit. Okay, 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 just do what you say. He usually couldn't stay any longer. Snort, shake your hand and leave. Zhou Jingming also shouted 2 sentences after him. Chef He, don't you want carp? I'll pay for this, and I'll put it on my account. He usually has long since disappeared. If he stays here any longer, his lungs will blow up. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Siheyuan, God Level Purchaser. Author, Idle Monkey Brother. Chapter 9. In the evening, the smoke of the courtyard was faint, and the sound of pots and pans colliding was lingering. People's greetings, children's playing, adults' shouts and chatting. Let the whole yard be filled with the smell of fireworks in the world. There are 4 courtyards, the 3 masters live in the first entry, the first master lives in the second entry, and the second master lives in the third entry. The place where Zhou Jingming lives is the 4th entry. All the way you have to pass through the alley in front of you. He was carrying a large carp with a disemboweled, a pound of cabbage, a pound of eggplant, a pound of eggs, and a handful of green onions. All the way home. The big carp, which weighed almost 10 caddies, was fat and healthy. And the dish that is carried in both hands, it is hard not to attract attention. Especially the big carp. That's called a fat body. Cabbage, eggplant, and green onions are also quite fresh and watery. It looks better than what it sells in the vegetable market. This is all the product of Zhou Jingming's spatial crit. It could be that when a critical hit is generated, something that is optimized. In short, it is much better than the original goods. Zhou Jingming's 2 hands made the uncle and aunt, and the daughter-in-law and girl who passed by look at it several times. The tone became very enthusiastic, too. Ming, you're back. Wow, this big carp is amazing. The acquisition department has issued benefits today. It's amazing, can you eat such a big fish? In this era, it is no more than the era in the past, and the materials are very scarce. Food is all supply. What I usually eat is cornmeal, woadu, and stock rice. The taste, don't talk about it. Just be satisfied. And to buy oil, grain, vegetables, fish, and meat, in addition to money, you also need tickets. All are available in limited quantities. So, everyone, you're hungry. Zhou Jingming, a big carp, I don't know how many halas he has seduced along the way. Let's not talk about fish. The eggs, all as big as duck eggs. And the cabbage eggplant, it's delicious at first sight. Can they not envy? However, they had no doubts that Zhou Jingming could get these things back. The purchaser is originally fat, and he doesn't need a ticket to get the food from there, just pay for it. It's strange that Zhou Jingming has always been extremely harsh and economical to himself. I've never seen him come back with any decent dishes. How did you change sex today? Zhou Jingming had a smile on his face, and greeted him casually, without the meaning of rejecting people thousands of miles away. It doesn't have to be. The courtyard is a miniature society, you offend people, how will you mix it up in the future? As he was walking, a graceful and slender figure appeared in front of him, walking straight towards him. By the twilight shimmer, Zhou Jingming could see that the person who came over turned out to be Qin Huiru. Qin Huiru, at this time, she had just given birth to a locust flower for a year. But the figure does not look obese at all. Now at the age of 28 or 9, she has more rich and mature charm than Yuning's unmarried little girl. It's the most attractive age. When she saw the big carp in Zhou Jingming's hand, her eyes suddenly lit up. A smile bloomed on his face. "Jingming, where did you come from this big carp? It's really big. It's really good, my sister really didn't see the wrong person. Otherwise, this Jin Huiru can eat Heyuju to death." What a talker. She doesn't call Zhou Jingming Xiaozhou like others, but she doesn't call her full name either. Just call him by his name. This naturally seems intimate and not obtrusive. A quiet compliment followed. To be honest, the original owner used to be in the courtyard, and he was a pure transparent person. Usually silent, there is really no sense of existence. If you want the original owner, you will be praised by Qin Huiru like this, and you can't guarantee that people will leap up. After all, what man doesn't like to be complimented, especially a pretty woman? It doesn't matter if it's a married woman or not. But Zhou Jingming is different. Before he came through, he had a small asset, and he had never seen any beauty. After passing through, I saw Lu Xiaoyi. Lu Xiaoyi is much more beautiful than Qin Huiru. How could he have any thoughts about her? Besides, although the TV series tries her best to benchmark that she is a kind, filial and good daughter-in-law, a good mother who supports a family, and a good woman. But it's hard for him to agree. There are too many suspicious places, too many clues. Don't say anything else. If you are a good daughter-in-law, you will hook up with Su Daimao. Flirting with the workers of the rolling mill. And accepted the stick noodles of an uncle as a matter of course at night? You're a good mother. How many children can you teach to be white-eyed wolves? Is a good woman, can she almost suck Heyuju into a desperate household? Of course, now her husband Jia Dongxiu is still alive. She has her husband's salary, plus her own. As well as the dinner that silly Zhu brought back from time to time. She's really having a good life. What about her today? She was waiting for the stupid pillar to bring her food. But as soon as silly Zhu came back, he ignored her and entered the house angrily. She was confused, and was walking back, not wanting to see Zhou Jingming's big carp coming over. The mind immediately came to life. This big carp? That's fat. It is very good for frying or boiling soups, especially fish soups. It's been a long time since I've drunk it. It's winter. If only this fish could give her half of it. Today she and the children will be able to have a delicious meal. I think of this. I heard the young man in front of me say. I've always been quite capable. Qin Huiru was stunned. How did she take this? That's not right. Isn't this kid's character a raw melon egg? What's going on with this confident tone? But Qin Huiru is really Qin Huiru, with an unguarded smile on his face. It's very capable. Let my sister see how heavy this big carp is. After speaking, he approached Zhou Jingming and bent down, revealing his thin waist and smooth pea shears. There was a burst of mature woman's taste, and it was silent. His hand was even more touching his hand as if he were carrying the fish. Zhou Jingming's eyes narrowed slightly. Give him this set? Good guys. Originally thought that after Jia Dongxiu died, Qin Huiru would put a hat on him. Looking at it like this, I'm afraid he didn't die, and there was a green prairie on his head. Quietly took 2 steps back, avoiding Qin Huiru. Zhou Jingming said with a smile. Sister Qin, don't get too close to me, I'm afraid that people will misunderstand. I don't dare to offend. Hearing Zhou Jingming mention Jia Dongxiu, Qin Huiru immediately looked around, but didn't see Jia Dongxiu, so he breathed a sigh of relief. I don't have any thoughts? Looked at Zhou Jingming with a complicated look, revealing a bitter feeling. Okay, Jingming, it's not early, sister is back to the house first, you should go back early. Qin Huiru turned around and entered the courtyard with a twist. There was a man's rough questioning voice from inside. Who were you talking to? Zhou Jingming walked into his yard without waves. Qin Huiru's bitterness, he didn't see it. But so what? The road is her own choice, and her life is also her own life. If he doesn't want to become a second stupid pillar, then don't be nosy. Siheyuan, God-level purchaser. Author, Idle Monkey Brother. Chapter 10. Qin Huiru returned to the courtyard. I noticed that a gloomy gaze enveloped her. My heart jumped. Then with a flattering smile on his face. Dongxiu, are you back? Jia Dongxiu had a gloomy face, and the words he asked wanted to be pulled out of his teeth one by one. Who were you talking to? Qin Huiru looked at this tall man, and was afraid of him in his heart. No. I didn't talk to anyone. Jia Dongxiu glanced at Qin Huiru coldly, turned around and entered the house. Qin Huiru hurriedly went in, brushed the pot, washed the vegetables, and cooked. But the gaze behind him has not been dispersed. Qin Huiru's heart was cold and unspeakably uncomfortable. What can I do then? Bear with me. Her home is from the countryside. Finally married Jia Dongxiu and became a city person, she will never go back. She has quick hands and feet. Laodu, stick noodles, big white steamed buns. As for the dish, it was a frozen and hard Chinese cabbage. It's so hard to freeze, but when it is fried, the frozen place is like mud. I can't help but think of the Chinese cabbage brought back by Zhou Jingming, and I can smell the aroma of the vegetables from afar. Get out of the pot, dip the pork skin and wipe the edge of the pot, and then put the Chinese cabbage in and fry. In these years, oil is expensive, and it can be eaten with an open belly. Besides, there is a certain amount of oil, and there are not a few catties a year. Stir fry and cook, that's just to wipe the pot with pork skin and have a bit of oily taste. Wait for her to bring the food to the table. Husband Jia Dongxiu, mother-in-law Jia Zhang, and son Stick Terrier took a white flour steamed bun to eat. As for her and Xiaodang, they can only eat stick noodles and laodu. Jia Zhang nibbled on 2 mouthfuls of steamed buns, picked a chopstick and chewed 2 bites of Chinese cabbage, and spit it out with a bang. The fat face was full of dissatisfaction. It's fried Chinese cabbage again, can't you change the taste? Jia Zhang's family has always looked down on Qin Huiru. It's just a country girl. It looks seductive. But what's the use? Her son is a first-class fitter, and the master she worships is the 8th-level fitter in the courtyard. It can be said that the future is promising. It's more than enough to marry a daughter-in-law from the city. Is just this sassy hoof, and I don't know what method I used to confuse my son. I have to marry her. If she marries a girl from the city and has her father-in-law's family to help her, she won't even be able to eat a good dish. Qin Huiru hurriedly explained. Mother-in-law, you know, now in the cold winter and the moon, it is difficult to buy vegetables. This is about to be the new year, you and Dongxiu are going to tear cloth to make clothes and buy New Year's goods. He said. Dongxiu also has to prepare some gifts to honor the master. He said. After the beginning of spring, the Stick Terrier still has to go to school. He said. I really can't squeeze out extra money to buy groceries. Jia Zhenji put the steamed bun on the shelf, and cried to Jia Dongxiu. Dongxiu, look at it, you married a good daughter-in-law. I'll just say a word, and she'll be waiting for me for 10 or 8 sentences. What does she mean, she? Qin Huiru chuckled in his heart, come again. Sure enough, Jia Dongxiu turned to his mother without asking for a reason. Huiru, apologize to my mother. Qin Huiru felt a wave of anger in her heart. She didn't do anything wrong. Originally, this family, what kind of thing is not what she is thinking about? There are 2 of them, mother and son, and they all have to eat big white steamed buns. But is this big white steamed bun so delicious? Not to mention that a pound of white noodles is nearly 2 cents, it is not open to buy, and you also need to use a noodle ticket. Your mother eats 2 meals, how much does it cost? What's more, you, Jia Dongxiu, are also a first-class fitter. If you're an 8th level fitter, then you can really eat like that. And this old pious woman, who is used to tossing people, picking her nose and eyes, she can bear it. If you really try to change to a daughter-in-law in the city, don't think about living that day for a day. Thinking about it, Qin Huiru still held back this breath, lowered his eyebrows and said to Jia Zhang's family, "I'm sorry, mother-in-law. I'm trying to figure out how to get you something to eat." Jia Zhenqi snorted in his nostrils at this time, picked up the steamed bun and ate it, but outside the words, he didn't forget to squeeze her. "It's in your humble field that you treat Chinese cabbage as a good thing," he said. "I heard that you all eat wild vegetables." Qin Huiru's face turned red, and her hands tightly clutched the hem of her clothes. This Jia Zhang also married into the city, and it has only been a few years, so I forgot her roots. Seeing that she didn't speak, Jia Zhang glanced at He Yizhu's house out of the corner of his eye. "This stupid pillar, didn't you come back with a lunch box today? She eats He Yizhu's small stove and eats Diao, Qin Huiru's cabbage with little water and lack of salt and oil, how can she eat it?" As soon as she said this, the stick terrier also lost her temper. "I don't want to eat this, I'm going to eat the dish that silly Zhu brought back," Qin Huiru hurriedly said. "Stick terrier, you want to call Uncle He?" Jia Dongxiu slammed the chopsticks. "What Uncle He? A stupid pillar is a stupid pillar. My son is a good name." The stick terrier clapped his hands and shouted, "Silly pillar, stupid pillar." Qin Huiru didn't say anything anymore. Stupid pillar, what do you call the child?" His son's cry pleased Jia Dongxiu, and his face was better. "But the mouth is very sour. That stupid thing, it looks so trembling, it's too old to even marry a daughter-in-law. It's just that the cooking skills are better, and I can actually get 37 yuan a month." Qin Huiru still didn't speak. "Silly pillar is stupid, but what you eat every day is not the food that this fool brought back from the cafeteria." She wouldn't say that. Jia Dongxiu kept looking at Qin Huiru, and when he saw that her face was the same, he changed his words. "In 2 days, I will follow my master to repair the rolling mill in the factory," he said. "As long as this job is done, I can be promoted to Tier 2 fitter. Get 37 yuan 5 a month." As soon as these words came out, Qin Huiru forgot about his anger just now. And Jia Zhang's even threw the matter of taking care of his daughter-in-law out of the clouds. "Dongxiu, is this true? Oh, my son, you're capable." Jia Dongxiu enjoyed the adoring eyes of the two women, and the whole person was a little fluttery. "That's still false. This is what my master said himself. You guys, just wait to live a good life with me." Jia Dongxiu was triumphant, feeling that he had finally breathed a bad breath, and the whole person was very comfortable. Welcome the 7-day National Day holiday. Read books and have fun, charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. To rush immediately, event period, October 1st to October 7th.